Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining me for today's video. In it, I'm going to go over the top 10 moves of the NFL offseason thus far. There has been so much happening through free agency, re-signings, trades, all of that, and I want to give you guys my understanding and lowdown of where I think the best moves have been made. If you guys are new to the channel, if you haven't done it yet, if you have enjoyed the content now or before, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. Your support is so very appreciated. It helps me out a ton as well. Thank you to all my current subscribers out there. Couldn't do it without you guys. With that done, let's get into Hot Off the Press. So how I wanted to do this, we're gonna start at 10 and work our way to my number one move of the offseason thus far. It is a lot more fun that way, kind of build up that anticipation. So to start us off, at number 10, gotta go with the homer pick. The Vikings extending Kirk Cousins on that 1 year, $35 million deal. The pick was inevitable, right? So I might as well just get it out of the way. I did a video urging Minnesota that the best course of action was to give him a 3-year deal around $32 million a year. That was a couple weeks ago. I was wrong on that. This deal is actually better for the Vikings. Minnesota not only gets cap relief, which they needed in the worst way, but they also get a look at Cousins under new head coach Kevin O'Donnell, who may actually use him and the rest of the Vikings offense to their full potential. They get an easier out next year now, and they do not have to make another long-term commitment to Kirk Cousins, who's so far been a stat stuffer that just has not picked it up and showed that he can get the wins when they need them the most. This was brilliant stuff. New Vikings GM Cam can stay. I give an honorable mention to the new signing of Za Darius Smith. That happened on Tuesday. The money here was not exorbitant, and Smith has shown an ability to be an elite pass rusher when he is healthy. Now, obviously, last year that wasn't the case. He only played in like 18 snaps. So that is a bigger if than Vikings fans would like, but I am a fan of the gamble at 3 years and $42 million. In at number 9, I have the Raiders signing of Chandler Jones. He signed a 3-year deal worth $51 million. Now, Jones has had a recent injury history. There is certainly some slight concern there, but the Raiders didn't have to pay a full-on premium for him, and he's going to be hungry to prove to Arizona that he was worth the price of admission. When you match him up on the outside with Max Crosby, I think this is one of the most fearsome tandems in the entire NFL to try to contain. The Raiders are clearly trying to make a push to challenge the rest of the AFC West, as they all are seeming to get better so far this offseason. At number 8, I have the Eagles signing Haasan Reddick. That deal was 3 years and $45 million. Now, Reddick made good on his 1-year prove-it deal in Carolina, so he cashes in big here. He gives the Eagles some pass rushing help, and that is at a reasonable price as well. I love the move for a team that was really needing some help getting after the quarterback. I have the Chiefs signing Juju Smith-Schuster to a 1-year, $10.75 million deal in at number 7. It gives Patrick Mahomes some more ammunition to deal with, and he definitely needs it now. We're going to get into that Tyreek Hill trade with Miami. I'm going to try to do a video before the end of the week on it. Considering the deal that the other wideouts got in free agency, many of them overpaid in my opinion, Kansas City did well to get Juju at this mark. He is still really young, and he could thrive as that second option in the high-octane Chiefs passing attack. He is not a true number 1. I think he proved that, especially after Antonio Brown left, but he doesn't have to be to make the signing look good next year. With Travis Kelce still drinking from his own personal fountain of youth, Mahomes is going to have matchups to exploit somewhere, and he's never struggled to find them before. The deal becomes even more interesting, like I said, now that Tyreek Hill is not there. So Juju is going to have every opportunity to succeed in Kansas City. He's going to have all the targets that he can handle, and he could not have hoped for a better position to be in. Ranking just outside the top 5, I really like what they did in Atlanta, re-signing Cordarelle Patterson. He is my 6th best signing in free agency. 2 years and $10.5 million is not a ton of money, and it's a perfect fit for both parties involved. Before this, in the arrival to Atlanta, Patterson was a special teams stud that was really a first-round bust everywhere else. And now, this signing allows the Falcons to get some help at the playmaker position, something that they have sorely needed, especially now when we think about Calvin Ridley no longer being there with that suspension. We don't know if or when he is going to come back. Patterson's going to see likely more work than he did last year, and he found plenty of success last year, and he's going to get all the touches that he can possibly handle. And he showed himself to be a weapon in many facets of the offense there in Atlanta, whether he was running it out of the backfield, catching out of the backfield, or lined up wide at wide receiver. This is going to be Marcus Mariota's new best friend, and they get that receiving running back hybrid for pennies on the dollar. In at number 5, I have the LA Chargers making a splash and trading for Khalil Mack. They give a 2nd rounder and a 6th rounder to the Bears for his services. Now, when we think about what already is in LA with that elite secondary, you pair that now with Joey Bosa on one side and Khalil Mack on the other. The Chargers are clearly doing all that they can to keep up in what is now the best division in the entire NFL. The offense already has that capability of putting up monster numbers, and that's only going to continue to get better. So I do not see many weaknesses in it right now. They are making every move they can to get themselves over the top. This LA Chargers team is stacked. Offensive line is certainly not one of the prettiest positions in the sport. However, it is definitely one of the most important. And in at number 4, I have the Bucs being able to re-sign center Ryan Jenson to a 3-year deal for $39 million. The Tom Brady effect was in full force here. The fingerprints were all on it. He could have got a hefty raise had he chosen to test free agency and go elsewhere, but he took that hometown discount to get one more run with the GOAT. And you cannot really blame him, can you? The Bucs needed to retain some of that stellar offensive line for last year. They were starting to lose pieces, and I think Jenson was probably the best piece that they had a chance to hold on to. With this deal, they were able to make it happen. Into my top 3 we go. I have the Rams signing of Allen Robinson II. That was a deal for 3 years and $45 million. This is a solid signing for an excellent receiver who never has had a decent quarterback throwing him the ball. It has a lot of the same feel for me that Matthew Stafford's movement did last year, when you have like an underperforming player move to a team and an offense that is going to be able to better utilize their skill set. And this is a move that could get him over the hump as well. I think that Robinson has a chance to rebound in a really big way, with defenses focusing on players like Cooper Kupp and of course Cam Akers coming out of the backfield. This is a solid makeup as well for that loss of Robert Woods. I comboed a couple signings in at number 2. It is the Ravens making all the right moves. They signed right tackle Morgan Moses to a 3-year deal for $15 million, as well as safety Marcus Williams to a 5-year deal for $70 million. The Ravens always seem to make those non-splashy moves that flat out win football games. This year is no different. Williams is probably best known for his work on the Minneapolis Miracle debacle. Thank you, by the way. But he's also been a solid contributor for one of the best passing defenses in the NFL over the last couple of years. Which brings us to number 1 and my favorite move of the NFL offseason thus far. It could be none other than the Browns going all in, making the move to trade for Deshaun Watson. I know that the Browns gave up everything in the kitchen sink in order to be able to get this guy on their roster. They signed Watson to a monster contract on top of it, doubling down, and I love it. This Cleveland team now has everything that it needs to make a deep playoff run, and that was not the case if they didn't decide to go all in. Watson now gets the security that he has coveted and a franchise that literally sold the farm to go get him. So he is clearly wanted, and he has to feel good about that, especially after the circus show that he has been in over the last 12 months plus. This Browns team boasts one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. They have an elite running back tandem in Nick Chubb and in Kareem Hunt, and they now have Amari Cooper on the outside. This defense, while elite on paper, has definitely underperformed over the last couple years, but a lift in this offense could certainly give them the boost that they need to be able to put it all together. All the pieces are now in place. Buckle up, America. The Browns are going to be really fun to watch. And with that, we're going to wrap it up for this video. Keep an eye out for the bottom 10 moves in the NFL free agency. I'm going to be dropping that in the next couple of days. If you guys enjoyed the content, if you're new to the channel, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. The support means the world to me, guys. It helps me out so very much. I really appreciate it. This is Relentless Press. I am your host, Abraham Opaz, and we'll see you next time.